Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Max Story.
Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast today. Today I want to talk to you about 5 reasons that leaders won't make the tough decision when it comes to replacing low impact, toxic team members who are contaminating their teams. I've seen it throughout my career. And these 5 reasons, they're really excuses, and they're excuses that high impact leaders avoid making. But a low impact leader just sees them as reasons not to replace someone who needs replacing. So I want to talk to you about that today. Pretty sure you've seen it. You can probably validate it. If you're a leader, if you want to become a high impact leader, you want to avoid these things I'm going to talk about. And if you're leading other people formally, do that hard work. Look in the mirror. If you're not leading anyone currently, but you aspire to grow and move up in an organization and you want to lead people, think about this lesson and think about your future and file this away and don't become this low impact leader that people do not want to work for. And there's a lot of them out there, and they're in all industries. They're in all countries. Wherever people exist, there are low impact leaders. Unfortunately, more of them than there are high impact leaders. But as you know, I'm trying to change that, and I want you to help me do it. So I'm going to talk about this in the context of character a bit to start with. So when we have character, what I'm saying is we have the ability, when we have the required character, we have the ability to meet the demands of reality. And to be highly effective, we must also have integrity, which is the courage to meet the demands of reality. So I learned those 2 lessons I just shared with you, those 2 points from Dr. Henry Cloud, reading some of his book. Actually, I think it was a book titled Integrity is where I got that from. There's a lot of character talk in there. So character doesn't just mean you're good or bad. Character is how you do what you do and why you do what you do. Character is every single thing that you are. If you're struggling anywhere in your life, you've got a character flaw, plain and simple. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Character is everything about you. Some people only think character means you're good or bad. Character doesn't mean you're good or bad, but it means a million other things too. So don't think when we're talking about character, we're just talking about you're a bad person or good person. It's everything. So high impact leaders continuously develop their character while making decisions with integrity when it comes to moving or removing low performers and making the best decision for the team. And that's the context. This podcast episode is about removing low performers from the team, or moving them so into a position so that they can become a high performer. Maybe moving them to a different job, to a different department, to a different plant within the organization, or moving them out of the organization, right? And so high impact leaders do what's best for the team. Low impact leaders do what's best for themselves. So you may remember the old Dallas Cowboys coach, Tom Landry. I want to share a quote with you from Coach Landry. And he says this: perhaps the toughest call for a coach is weighing what is best for an individual against what is best for the team. Keeping a player on the roster just because I liked him personally, or even because of his great contributions to the team in the past, when I felt someone else could do more for the team, would be a disservice to the team's goals. That's a pretty good quote right there from Coach Landry. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that here in a second. So I've seen leaders at all levels in multiple industries get this wrong repeatedly in my career. No matter if I was on the front line, I saw this. When I worked my way up into management, I saw it. As a consultant, I saw it. And I hear about it all the time, all across the country now when I'm talking to people, when I'm speaking and training on leadership. So there's usually several reasons why leaders won't make the tough decisions and do what's best for the team when it comes to removing or moving an individual. And the first two was what Coach Landry was talking about in the quote I shared a moment ago. But I want to share with you 5 reasons low impact leaders won't do the right thing. 5 reasons why low impact leaders won't remove or move a low impact, low performer from the team. So I'm going to tell you the 5, and then I'm going to come back and talk to you about them a little bit. The 5 reasons are one is a personal relationship. 2 is an individual's past results, not current results, past results. Those 2 kind of go in line with the quote from Coach Landry. So if you want to go back and listen to that quote, hit rewind a little bit and go find that quote and listen to it. But then think about the number 1 reason, and it's not literally number 1, it's number 1 out of 5 on my list. The number 1 reason low impact leaders won't do what's right and remove or move low impact performers, toxic people who are contaminating the team. Number 1 is a personal relationship. And the second thing is the individual's past results. A third reason is they don't want the hassle of replacing them. The fourth reason, they don't want to become responsible while the position is vacant. And the fifth reason is they're dependent. They depended on that person too much and don't know what they would do without them. And all 5 of these reasons are simply excuses. And they're evidence of a leader who first has not led themselves well, and secondly, who is not leading their team well. And because the leader isn't willing to pay the price and do what's right, guess who pays the price? The team pays the price. You already know that if you're living in it now or have been in it in the past. When a leader won't do what's right, actually they lose a lot of integrity with their team. But also it doesn't end there with just the team paying the price, because now distrust has been created and influence has decreased. The leader's influence, and actually the team's influence, because the team's irritated, and if they show it, if they whine instead of shine, then they're going to lose influence with the leader. And it's the leader's ability to lead effectively has been reduced. So as a result, the leader and those being led end up paying the price together. Everyone ultimately pays the price of poor leadership. No one is immune to that. And so while a leader thinks, or sometimes they know, but they really don't know. They think they know. They think they're avoiding paying the price by not making the tough decisions. Oh no, they're paying the price, and so is their team. So I want to go back and touch on these 5 reasons that low impact leaders won't replace a team member who needs to be replaced. And again, high impact leaders see these 5 reasons as purely as excuses, and high impact leaders avoid them. So let's go back and talk about the personal relationships. Relationships are important, absolutely, to a high impact leader, but only if they're producing the desired results. When it comes to desired results of a high impact leader, they want high impact players who work well together on the team. They don't want a star on the team. They want people on the team who helps others become stars. And if they're all doing that, then they're all stars. So high impact leaders do not let personal relationships get in the way of what's best for the team. Let's talk about reason number 2, an individual's past results. High impact leaders know what they did in the past is important. High impact leaders know what they're doing today is more important. But high impact leaders also know what their team members are going to do in the future is most important. And if they're going to contaminate, demoralize the team, high impact team leaders do what's right, and they get rid of the bad, toxic team member. And they don't spend a whole lot of time on it either, especially if they've been doing leadership development and it's obvious this person's not interested and is kind of going against the grain. Let's talk about the third reason. Low impact leaders don't want the hassle of replacing the team member. High impact leaders, they're far beyond that because they've already created a growth culture, and succession planning is part of the plan. They're growing and developing the team. So when someone moves out, they can move someone in. Or because they're growing and developing the team, when someone moves out, the team is high character. And who we are is who we attract. So when someone on the team recommends someone to fill the position from outside the team, maybe outside the organization, it's going to be someone who can come in and step up because the reason they're attracted is because they have similar character. And so a high impact leader also knows a team's strength is determined by the development of those on the bench. Common sense, but not common practice. Low impact leaders are not growing and developing their team because they're insecure in the first place. So when they need to replace them, they won't necessarily replace them because who they're going to replace them with. It's just easier to live with them. The fourth reason, they don't want to become responsible while the position is vacant. And man, have I seen this one so much. They just won't make the tough decision because a lot of times the crew's small. And so if I have to get rid of one of the team members, if I'm the leader, I have to step in and fill in and carry some of the load. And if I'm a lazy, low-impact leader, I don't want to step in and carry any of the load. So I let the team carry the load of the low-impact player. And because I'm a low-impact leader, I got to carry the load of all the whining, all the moaning and groaning, all the complaining, all the bickering that's caused by the low-impact leader that I won't replace because I'm worried about me having to do some work. So if I'm thinking like that, that's usually a sign of a self-serving leader, because a high-impact servant leader will accept the additional responsibility and serve the team. So they'll step in and help. But I tell you what happens most of the time, if there's a high-impact leader and they eliminate the low-impact performer who's demoralizing the team, who's toxic to the team, 9 times out of 10, that leader won't have to step in because the team that remains behind after you get rid of the toxic person, those people step up to a level they hadn't been at before in a while because they've been irritated, demoralized. But when the leader does the right thing, especially if they do it quickly, the team knows, hey, the leader just did the right thing, and let's step up, make this happen. That's how we support the leader doing the right thing. Just like how they don't support the leader when the leader doesn't do the right thing. They have low productivity, poor quality. All kinds of problems show up because that's how they rebel and that's how they resist. So the fifth reason low impact leaders won't make the tough decision when it comes to replacing or removing, when it comes to removing a toxic team member, is because they're dependent and don't know what they would do without them. And this is a direct result of a leader that has not invested time and energy in developing and growing the entire team, and maybe even themselves. If I'm not growing and developing my team, if I'm not shuffling people around, giving them opportunities to gain new experience, helping them become more valuable so they can become more successful, because it ain't just about me. It ain't just about me making sure everyone can be squared away and be ready to fill in anybody's job so it's not tough on me. That's not why I do it. I do it for the right reasons, which is to help my team gain experience so they can become more valuable, so they can get raises, they can get promotions, maybe that's so they can leave the company and go do something else. I don't know, but I don't care if I'm a high impact leader. All I know is I'm valuing my team and I'm adding value to my team. So I'm not dependent on my team. I work with my team in an interdependent fashion, meaning we work together to accomplish the mission. So I'm not dependent on anybody on my team. If I'm a high impact leader, anybody can go at any time, and I promise you, we're going to be okay. Low impact leader is, oh my God, what happens if Joe decides to leave tomorrow? What am I going to do? That's about the weakest position of leadership there is. If I'm the leader and I don't know what I'm going to do when someone leaves, I'm not leading. I'm just managing. I'm coming in every day and managing the status quo. That's what low impact leaders do. They do their best, and most of them are not even good at that, but they do their best at managing the status quo, making sure everything stays the same and hoping everything stays the same, because the last thing I want to do as a low impact leader is deal with change. When change happens to a low impact leader, they whine, they don't shine. High impact leaders, they say, hey, here's a great time to shine. Joe decided he's leaving today and he ain't coming back, or I'm leaving him and I'm terminating him and he ain't coming back. Just watch us carry the load like it never even happened. That's a high impact leader's mindset. So the thing is, any high impact leader in any type of organization is always, if they're truly taking responsibility, doing one or more of these things relative to all aspects of the company. And what I'm talking about is one of these three things. High impact leaders are always making it happen, good or bad, allowing it to happen, good or bad, preventing it from happening, good or bad. And I should say that's what leaders are doing. Leaders are making it happen, good or bad, allowing it to happen, good or bad, or preventing it from happening, good or bad. But high impact leaders are making good things happen. They're allowing good things to happen, and they're preventing bad things from happening. But low impact leaders do right the opposite. They make bad things happen. They allow bad things to happen, and they even prevent good things from happening. That's how wide the gap is. But the ultimate responsibility is always at the top with the highest level leader in the organization. Whoever's at the top, the boss, the CEO, the owner, whatever title they have, plant manager, depends on where you're at and how it's set up. Whoever the highest level leader is, they're responsible for all these low impact leaders. If there's a lot of low impact leaders in the organization, it's because the highest level leader on the org chart allows them to be there. A high impact leader is not going to allow that to happen. High impact leaders are always responsible for casting the vision, creating the culture, and most importantly, modeling character and integrity for all the leaders below them. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Focus hard on climbing to the next level and beyond. If you're already a formal authority leader, don't use these excuses to allow toxic members to stay on your team. Do what's right for the team. If you can't figure out what to do what's right, then you got to go work, grow, and develop yourself. Go make it happen. If you're aspiring to become a leader, take this lesson, put it in your pocket, and don't be a low impact leader when you start leading people. And don't wait to get promoted into a leadership position before you start learning how to lead. That's what all my stuff is about, helping you learn to lead without a position. Because if you can't lead without a position, you won't lead with a position, because you won't have to. You can rest on your artificial influence. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen or someone else will. It might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out Mac Story's Blue Collar Leadership series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon, iTunes, and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mac's books, programs, special offers, certifications, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.